This is a story about a young man named Daniel. Daniel was 26 years old. He had a decent job, a small apartment, people who cared about him. From the outside, his life looked perfectly fine, but inside his head, it was never quiet. Every morning, he woke up already tired, not from sleep, but from thinking. Thinking about what things he said years ago, thinking about problems that had not even happened yet. Thinking about whether he was doing enough, being enough, living enough. He was not broken, he was just exhausted by his own mind. And one day he decided he could not keep living like this. Daniel had heard about an old man named Joseph. He lived alone in a small town 4 hours away from the city. People said Joseph was different. He was not a therapist, he was not a guru. He was just someone who had figured something out. Something about how to be calm in a world that never stops moving. Daniel did not fully believe it, but he was desperate enough to try. So one Saturday morning, he got in his car and drove. The further he got from the city, the quieter everything became. No traffic, no horns, just open doors and sky. And for a brief moment, just a moment, his mind went quiet too. He noticed it and then immediately started thinking about why it had gone quiet. And just like that, it was not quiet anymore. He sighed and kept driving. Joseph's home was simple, a small house with a garden out front, the kind of person who never seemed to be in a rush, not because he had now here to be, but because he had made peace with where he was. Daniel sat down and immediately started explaining everything, the overthinking, the anxiety, the inability to just rest. He talked for almost 20 minutes straight. Joseph listened, never interrupted, never looked impatient. When Daniel finally finished, Joseph was quiet for a moment. Then he stood up and said, "Come with me. I want to show you something." Daniel looked confused. "That is, no advice?" Joseph just smiled and walked toward the kitchen. Joseph filled a glass with water, all the way to the top, almost overflowing. He handed it carefully to Daniel. "I want you to walk out of his house, go down the road, reach that big tree at the end, and come back without spilling a single drop." Daniel looked at the glass, then at Joseph, then back at the glass. This was not what he came for. He came for answers, for wisdom, for something that would fix the noise in his head. But Joseph had already opened the front door and was waiting. So Daniel started walking. The road outside was not empty. There were kids running around, a dog barking nearby, people talking loudly. Someone on a bicycle almost crossed his path. But Daniel's eyes were locked on that glass. He slowed down uneven parts of the road. He adjusted his grip. He focused on keeping his hand steady. Step by step, slow and careful, he reached the tree, turned around, walked back. When he stepped back inside and handed Joseph the glass, not a single drop had spilled. Joseph looked at the glass, then at Daniel. "Did you notice the kid playing outside?" Daniel thought for a second. "No." "Did you hear the dog barking?" I I knew it was there, but I did not really pay attention to it. Joseph asked, "What about your thoughts? Were you thinking about your problems while you were walking?" Daniel opened his mouth to answer and then stopped. He had not been. For those few minutes outside, his mind had been completely silent. No replaying old conversations, no imagining future disasters, nothing. Just the glass, just his steps, just right now. "I was not thinking about anything," Daniel said quietly. Joseph nodded. "That's because your attention had somewhere real to go." They sat down and Joseph spoke slowly. "Most people think that to find peace, you You have to force your thoughts away. Tell yourself, stop thinking, stop worrying, calm down. But that never works because you are still focused on the thoughts, but just fighting them instead of following them. Daniel nodded. He knew that feeling exactly. The mind is like a river. Joseph continued. You cannot stop the water from flowing, but you don't have to stand in the middle of it either. You can step to the side and just watch it pass. The glass of water was your anchor, he said. It gave your attention one real thing to hold on to. And when your attention is fully here, in this moment, on this task, there is simply no space left for fear, no space for regret, no space for the noise. So the thoughts don't disappear. Daniel asked. They don't stop, Joseph said, but they lose their grip on you because you are no longer feeding them the one thing they need to survive. Daniel looked at him. Attention? Attention, Joseph said quietly. Daniel drove back to the city as the sky turned dark. The same roads, the same lights, the same man. But something had shifted. On the dark back, a thought came. An old worry, something he had been carrying for months. And this time, he noticed it. Like really noticed it. The way you notice a cloud passing overhead. He did not chase it. He did not argue with it. Just let it be there. And then he brought his attention back to the road, to his hands on the wheel, to the sound of the engine, and the thought quietly faded. Another one came a few minutes later. He noticed that one too. Come back to the road. It faded as well. He was not cut. He was not suddenly at peace forever. But for the first time in a long time, he felt like he was driving the car, not the other way around. Here is what most people get wrong about overthinking. They think the goal is to have no thoughts, so they fight every thought that comes. They tell themselves, stop it, don't think about that, calm down. And that fight itself becomes exhausting because you cannot win a war against your own mind. The real shift happens when you stop trying to silence your thoughts and start choosing where your attention goes instead. Your thoughts will come, they always will. That's just what minds do. But a thought only has power over you when you follow it, when you climb inside it and let it take you somewhere. To the past, to the future, to the worry, to the fear. The moment you notice that you have followed a thought, that moment of awareness is everything. Because in that moment you have a choice. You can keep following it or you can come back to your breath, back to this room, back to whatever is right in front of you. That's the practice. Not once, not twice, 100 times a day if needed. Every time you notice, you come back. And slowly, over time, the thoughts lose their grip. Not because you destroyed them, but because you stopped giving them the one thing that makes them powerful, your attention. So the next time your mind starts pulling you somewhere dark, pause just for 1 second and ask yourself, have I been here before? Did it help? You have followed that thought 1,000 times and it never led anywhere good. Maybe this time just let it